Hello everyone to the next episode of Drift Heads. Like we said before, there were just 3 days to do the changes before we would be able to go for practice. Unfortunately, we did not make it for the practice, so we are going again for the race itself. But now you can check what we did to the car. Not finished the race, unfortunately. This is very probably the reason, because now it is moving quite okay, but the new one is like way smoother. However, if you will put loop like this, which was there, suddenly it just got stuck, and this is what happened. Like, there was a loop on it and I pushed throttle and it got stuck. Or what happened is that I pushed the throttle, so it pulled and it did not want it to go. So I just like quick dab on the throttle just to adjust. Like, not much was happening. Then the throttle was getting stuck and it was not working properly. Something what can happen when you are having a car with swapped engine, because my E46 was previously 4-cylinder, and this is a 4-cylinder throttle cable, and pretty old and damaged one. So now we just went and bought a new one from BMW for 328, so for 6-cylinder, and it is running way more nicely and smoother, so all the throttle inputs should be way better, and next race hopefully will be fine. It is not that easy to get it out, like this damage on this one. This is from me, this is from when I was taking it out. But this part was there, and the rusted part was there, and the loop and everything, and how it goes or does not go, it was also there. So this is like way better, and hopefully the problem is solved. After the first race, we find out that the biggest problem with the car was the throttle cable. It was making the car almost undrivable, but there were a couple of other issues. One of those were not much steering feel and also big play on the front wheels. In the beginning, we thought that it is just typical E46 problem, and that means those main pins on the big arm is the issue. However, when I disassembled it from the car, I find out that it is not the only problem. The steering feel was taken out, I believe, by geometry of the steering itself, because it looks that the car was having quite significant negative accrement, which is very good for the grip on the front when you're going sideways. However, it is taking the steering response from your hands. So it is making the car numb, but still gripped up. It is like weird to drive that. I did not drive many cars which would feel nice to have negative accrement. It is my personal opinion. Maybe it is wrong, but I just don't like that. The problem with the pin itself, you can see that the pins are not the best, but you cannot hear any clicking noise and any other problems. I believe that the main clicking noise were coming from this, which this needs to be conical pin, and here it is just a bolt which is sitting in conical hole, so it is only relying on the clamping force which you will tighten it up. During the usage in the race, it can get a little bit loose, and in that moment it starts to have a play inside of the conical hole and starting making those problems. So for example, you initiate and the geometry is changing throughout your initiation. Your feeling of the steering wheel is getting even worse throughout that corner, and after transition it can change again, so you are not 100% sure after transition where your wheels are and how they are going. That was not the best feeling in the world. What we decided to do is change completely the setup, because I wanted to just buy the lower arm and put it back only with the lower arms, maybe to change also the rear bush for a stronger one, because this is like quite loose already. With new arm it would be better, but maybe just changing it for stronger bush. When I put it all the costs together, it started to be expensive for something I don't feel it is right. So that's why we decided to go with Wisefab Narrow Kit. Here, for example, you can see the difference between this kit. I even don't know what brand it is, and the Wisefab is that you're having like proper conical pin which would be sitting in the knuckle correctly, and you will tighten it, and the conical shape will make sure that it is still tightened. It will not get loose so quickly like this one. So that is one of the first things which I immediately saw when I was disassembling this from the car. Why we decided to go with Wisefab, it is that they're having a lot of experience in drifting. You can see on our other videos how they're developing their parts and so on. So I like their production, and I like the adjustability which they are providing. So that's why we decided to go with them. And in the beginning I wanted to go with narrow kit. However, things got a little bit changed. You can see on the first glance that this really looks like a narrow kit. However, there is one difference in case of this kit and the classic narrow kit. The lower arm is the same adjustment of the lower arm. The tie rod, I think, is also the same, but the biggest difference is in the adapter. When narrow kit is not having adjustable Ackerman, here you can see that this one is having adjustable Ackerman. This is something what Wisefab is calling Narrow Kit Plus, and actually it is possible to buy that. The reason why the Narrow Kit is not having adjustable Ackerman from the beginning is that a lot of people don't know how to set it up. So they chose the best setup, what they think it is working the best for the E46, E36, and that's what they are selling with the narrow kit. So you don't need to think about adjusting the Ackerman. You will just put it on the car and it is working good. But when I was speaking with them and I was like, yeah, maybe I would like to play with the Ackerman a little bit around to find out how I would like the setup, they were like, yep, there is solution. So you can have the Wisefab Plus. Reason why normally it is not there, the adjustable Ackerman, is that a lot of people actually don't know what is happening to the car when you are adjusting the Ackerman. And this is something what is getting to me quite often, that people are writing me down that, hey, how I should adjust my Wisefab kit. Especially those who are having E92s where there is plenty of adjustments, they are not sure. And at the end, it ends up that they will set it up based on the instructions, which you are having in the instruction manual, which is something like that. And based on those, they will just set up the base adjustments and leave it as it is and not changing it from track to track, from race to race, or by the feeling of the driver. So to make it a little bit cheaper, more easy, more user-friendly, they were not putting it in normal narrow kit. However, if you're somebody who would like to have possibility to adjust it, there is possibility. Just write them down and say, hey, I would like to have narrow kit plus, and it is possible to order. Then you will get something like that. What is Ackerman? Ackerman is about front wheels and how they are turning inside of the curve. Because if you look on the car, each wheel is on different side, and when you're turning into the corner, then each wheel needs to run different radius. Because of that, there is Ackermann angle, which will determine how difference will be in between both wheels. So this is important to understand that each wheel is turning with different angle. When you're drifting, in theory, the negative Ackermann should be the way to go, because when you are drifting, your wheels are in opposite direction, so you need to have negative Ackermann to have the correct radius for each wheel. In theory, that works really well. In practice, not so much. Because as I was speaking before, what is happening with the car is that in low angles on initiation, it can feel a bit numb and you don't know exactly where your front wheels are. But it is increasing the grip because each wheel is going in correct radius. If you would keep the normal Ackermann, which the car is having, the positive one, BMW E46, I think it is somewhere between 6 and 8 degrees. So if you would keep that, then the trailing wheel would be towed a lot behind. So it is actually slowing down the car, and also it is losing up the grip because it is basically slipping all the time. So more you would put positive Ackermann, more you will lose the grip on the trailing front wheel. So if you're having problems with the grip on the front axle, it can also come from this. So that's why it is important to reduce the Ackermann angle. From my perspective, I still like it to have it a little bit positive, that you're having the feeling in the center position in small angles. On initiation, you feel where your wheels are going. And in bigger angles, you are not having problems with losing too much grip on the front. That is basically, in very, very short, what Ackermann angle in steering is. Now, how to set it up? With this kit, you will get 6 washers. 2 of them are for E36, so that does not bother me. And then you are having 2 for E46 or E46M. Both are different. I don't have M car, so I will be just speaking about normal E46. You're having 2 sets of washers, and there are small notches on those spacers. Like here, like there. And you can set up the Ackermann angle from 0 to 6 degrees positive. So 0, so no Ackermann, both wheels are turning the same way. Then you can have 3 degrees or 6 degrees. 6 is almost getting to the stock way of the car. So if you like how the car was feeling on the steering when it was stock, this is something what you can go with. However, I would recommend to reduce it a little bit and test it. And if you don't like it, it is not that it's not taking that much time to change it back to 6 degrees. And how does it working? 2 spacers are having not aligned those notches. With those, you can set up Ackermann 0, or you will turn them the opposite way, and then you can set up Ackermann positive 6. What I will be using is those 2 washers, which are having both notches aligned. Those will give me Ackermann 3 degrees. You will put it inside of the hole the way that it is, the notches are way out, so the pin is more to the inside. If you are having M car, then it's vice versa. And then you will just put the steering pin inside, and you can go and put it in your car. So this is pretty nice setup. I really like how it looks, and I'm very happy that I can play with it a little bit. That's what we were speaking about Ackermann, about setting up the Ackermann angle, but there is more adjustments with this kit, which I really like. The steering stop which will determine how much maximum steering angle you can have. So you're having like here small holes, and based on those you can set up how much you would like to have of the steering angle. So it works that you're steering like that and it will got stop. Now it is not tightened, so it is not stopping, but when it is tight on the car, it will stop it. Even with the highest amount of stop, there is still plenty of steering angle, so this is a really nice setup. If you would like to use it with a sway bar, it is possible. There is a hole, so you can use this kit also with a sway bar. I would like to drive it with a sway bar. However, I bought the car, the sway bar was deleted, front and rear. The suspension is set for that, so it is having more stiff suspension. So if I would now put the sway bars in, then I would also need to change the springs, and there is not much time for that. With the speeds we are running, I believe it will be fine even without them. And then the last part which you can adjust is the caster. So then you can put it like this, and this part is also adjustable. With this part, if it is like that, you just need to slide it off again, the arm, and then you can adjust it. What is adjusting with this is caster. Caster, it is something what will determine how much the wheel will angle out in the steering angle. So this is actually giving you the speed of the steering wheel, how it rotates, and how quickly it rotates from transition to transition. So with that you can set up the speed of response of the steering on the transitions and how it feels, how the steering wheel is turning. If you overdo it, you're losing grip on the front. If you will put too little, then there is no steering response. It is not only thing which is changing the steering response or speed of the rotating of the wheel, but is one of the main parts which caster is doing. What is important with this part is not to forget that there is a small spacer there, and if you would not put it there, there is a possibility that you would smash the thread on the bolt and you can damage that and it would stop be adjustable. So be careful to still have the washer inside. We will be running 5 to 6 degrees of caster and we'll see how that will work out. Once you're having this kit with you, you should think about spare parts. So what we are having are spare tie rods, and then spare different pins on the kit itself. Once there is hit and damage to the tie rods, we are able to change that. If it would bend the pin, we are also able to change those pins and be able to get back into the competition. What you also need to buy, if you would like to keep it tidy, are the dust covers. So I bought dust covers. Those are normal dust covers for E46, and also tread locker. So this tread locker is needed when you are mounting the tie rods. For those parts, when you are assembling it, it is recommended by Wisefab to put the tread locker, medium tread locker, in those. Then just put it on the car and feel how you like it. We are now putting it on the car and we will see how it works and how I like it during the competition. Just small detail which we needed to also solve was water getting into the trunk. As you can see that there are no inner fenders, inner plastic fenders, and when you will put the bumper, all the water splashing from the wheels is hitting the bumper and it's getting immediately inside. After the race we had there like 4 centimeters of water. So first we thought that we will just drill holes into the floor and let it drain, but that was not solving the problem itself. So then I just checked where the leakages are, and that was quite obvious one. So we just like bought 0.5 millimeter thick sheet of aluminum, put it on the bond, and just glued it in and covered it. So normally there is a plastic like this one, and it is just there. So we took it out, covered it with this, also plugged this hole. This is how it looks from the inside. Yes, the car needs proper wash of the trunk, but unfortunately there was not much time to solve this. I just hope that before next race we will be able to clean the boot. So this should work. It should not rust as it is aluminum. Hopefully it will be a good solution for the water in the trunk. So car is ready. We made all parts which we wanted to. The only part which was not done was the differential, because I believe that 338 or 345 should be good solution for that track. However, my spotter, after trying the track in a simulator, told me that the 315 will be just fine. So I trusted him. I kept the 315 in the car, and we are going for the race. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.